The Moors is one of the finest mountain ranges in Scotland. Today I challenge myself to complete the Ring of Steall and the infamous Devil's Ridge. I'll trek through Glen Nevis, the picturesque Glen, before climbing the fallen Munros.
Scrambling is the peak of the rounded hill, and Bottach means the old man. Stop Curry Achard is the peak of the curry of the cairn, and Geranach is the complainer.
Good morning everyone, and we're off to a fine start this morning. Nice and sunny. We've just left the Lower Falls car park in Glen Nevis, and today we're heading into the Moors mountain range, and I'm going to attempt to do the Ring of Steall. Now this will be a bit of a challenge for me because it's the first time I've actually done a proper ridge walk, so very excited to do it and also a little bit apprehensive. So we'll make our way along the lower path as we head towards the start for the ascent for our first munro for the day. So we'll catch up in a little bit. So today's trek isn't a long one, it's only about 10 miles, but keeping in mind that we've got 4 munros to do, a lot of elevation, even for an experienced munro bagger, this is a very challenging walk. So time wise, 9.5 hours is probably the best you could do this in. For me, who's filming, I expect to take a little bit longer. Hence one of the reasons that I got off to an early start. Got at the car park roughly about 6 this morning. Camped at the Glen Nevis campsite and walked in. So I've got that extra mileage to add to today's journey, so that's probably about another 6 miles on top of what I'm doing. So I'm under no false illusion. This is going to be a very taxing day, and as you can see, it is exceptionally sunny, and even at this time in the morning it's already starting to get quite warm. So the priority today was to make sure I had plenty of water taken on board, because I don't know what it'll be like as I get further up into the mountains. Anyway, I'm going to push on a little further and we'll catch up in a wee bit. So I'm just going to stop here for a little bit of a break at the moment before I tackle the ascent proper. I'm just at the junction which would lead you off to my left. That would take me off towards Stop Band, and obviously I'll be heading up this route here. Now I've decided to tackle the tallest munro first. A couple of reasons for that. One, doing this route in anti-clockwise is just simply better for me getting back to the camp tonight, so I'm not retreading ground I've already done. And also I want to try and get as much elevation done while it's reasonably cool. Today is going to be an absolute scorcher, and that will certainly take its toll on me, as I imagine any other walker is going to be up there. Now the route up to here, to where I am at the moment, it's actually been quite good. It's quite a challenging what I call sort of goat trail coming up here, but easy enough to navigate. So yeah, it's been beautiful coming up here, very tranquil, very peaceful, and likewise no walkers out at the moment, but that will all change. Anyway, I'm going to have myself one of these little snack Polish sausages, a little bit of energy, and we'll catch up a little bit further along the trail. So we just come up to this deer fence here, and already in the early stages, this route is getting very technical. You're having to do a lot of climbing early on, so I'll probably catch up when we actually get to the summit, because at the moment I need to really concentrate what I'm actually doing, and we'll catch up in a wee bit. So I'm really having to watch myself as I come up here. A lot of technical sections where you're having to pull yourself up. Probably class it as being sort of grade 1 to grade 2 scrambling at certain sections. Now at the moment it's obviously very dry underfoot, so a lot of the stones are giving way as they're coming up, but I know from other walker reports that during wet conditions this section is very dangerous, and I can understand why. A lot of times you are very close to the edge, and if your feet give way, you're going to be hard pressed to stop yourself. So this is why I'm going for slow and steady wins the race today, not taking any chances. Anyway, I think hopefully not too far to go. So we're just on the final approach to the first summit, and now we have to walk on this sort of white rubble path to the top, and my feet are just sinking in it. So I think I'll do the wise thing. I'll put the camera down and I'll power through this section. I'll catch up near the top. Well, there's no mistaking that this is the cairnstone for the first Munro, and wow, I believe it's pronounced Scrambling. If I probably butchered pronunciation, you'll get the exact pronunciation at the intro for this video. Oh, that was a struggle coming up. It was like being stuck in a ball pit when you're a toddler. Yeah, that was hard going. Definitely worthy of being a grade 5 Munro. But once you get up here, oh, the views are spectacular. They speak for themselves. And when I get back down, I'll pan the camera around and point them out to you. So if we look in the distance, that's the ridge line that we're going to be following. Further afield, we're looking over towards, I believe, sort of Glen area. And pan the camera around. And here we are at Stobban, it's one of the other Munros. Move a little bit further along. The most iconic Munro, obviously Ben Nevis, or just called the Ben by the local people. Some people also call it the Big Ben of the North. Now I might get better views as we go around the arete. CMD arete just going along here, and just a little bit further up you see that pinnacle there. That's Carnmore Derrig, another Munro. And we go further along here, I believe that's the Munros of the Annex, and a little bit further along around about this area we have the Grey Corries. So I believe we're just about to start the infamous Devil's Ridge, and this is certainly meant to be one of the most challenging sections along this trail from my understanding. So from here onwards I'll certainly be minding what I'm doing. Anyway, move on and I'll try and get some footage off the ridge as we come a little bit closer to it. So just looking back the way that we've come, and just looking down into the glen. Now this section here is going to be a bit of a scramble, and the easiest path is going pretty much directly up. So I'm going to just take that. I don't think I'll be coming back down to get my camera. We'll go at once and probably put the action camera on. So I've just come up to a section where you can actually climb across this arete if you're in a mind to do so. But there is actually a bypass path that you can take which skirts around the side of it, so I think we are going to attempt to take that. Try and get as much footage of it as I can. There we go. You can just see it skirting around the other side. So I've got through some of the, hopefully the more challenging sections. Yeah, again, speaking to quite a few other walkers on the route. Really nice people. I've also seen walkers like giving advice and trying to tell people the safest way to go around certain sections. That's one of the best things I like about the sort of the walking community. Very supportive for most part. So this is what it's all about, you know, getting out here, finding that inner peace. It might have been a struggle coming up that first Munro, but once you get the views like this, it's worth it every day. Anyway, feeling very fortunate at the moment that I can actually get out here and do this. Anyway, so catch up a little bit further along the trail. So in the distance you can obviously see yet again Ben Nevis. That's the first Munro that we've done for the day, and you can just see how we've followed this ridgeline all the way along up until this small peak here. It's fantastic viewing, and if we look actually down, you'll see this small stream leading down. And that shall go to the Steall Falls a bit further along, and this is why this particular route is called, or area is called, the Ring of Steall. It's to do with that little stream there. And we'll be next moving up to our second Munro of the day, which is obviously just here, and that is Boddock. So one of the things I love about doing a particular sort of walk like this is when you're in a circular route, or in this case it's probably more of a U-shaped, is you're not having to double back on yourself like you do with a lot of Munros. And for me that's always an advantage. I tend to look when I plan routes, if possible, to either have sort of something like this which is circular, or try and do something which is sort of a linear, just one line, and that's it done. But unfortunately, I mean, some routes are going to be like that, and that's just the way it is. But anyway, just my random thoughts while doing this particular trail while I'm on a, for once, an even section. Anyway, we'll catch up, I reckon, as soon as we get to the summit of our next Munro for the day. So that's the second Munro for the day, and Boddock. Oh, fantastic. I found actually this Munro a lot easier to climb than some of the other smaller hills that we've had to go up. Even though it was quite technical at parts, it just seemed to be a nice sort of winding path for most part. So yeah, really enjoyable. Oh, blessed with the views today and with the weather. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm going to take a wee break here before we start to descend and start heading towards our next munro for the day. We'll catch up in a little bit. So you can see coming down from the Munro until we get down to that nice plateau, it is literally a very steep descent. Yeah, very challenging and more importantly a lot of fun. So let's crack on with it and get down there. So I've finally made it down to the Beelac, coming down from Amboddock. Oh man, that was scary, but fun. I think if I was a cat I might have lost a couple of my lives coming down there. The rocks are very loose. I think there's a lot of it's down to the extreme dry heat. I'm sure for anyone who was looking on, it probably didn't look like I was climbing down there, probably more like I was actually surfing down that hill. Yeah, that was an experience. Anyway, we shall move on and we'll make our way on to our next munro. So we head to roughly where my pointer is. That's quite near to Kinloch Leaving there. And if I was to go a little bit further afield, we're probably heading off into the Rannoch Moors. I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to just show you, this is the last munro that we have to do today, just up there. It actually seems a reasonably good path, and that should be the last of our high elevation. But if I was to come down this ridgeline here, the Ret, as such, you'll see we start coming towards the more easterly munros along the Moors mountain range. I can't remember the names offhand. I'll put them up on the screen. And that is our third munro for the day. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce it because I'd literally butcher the Gaelic name for it. Oh, it feels good to get here. Only one munro to go now, but it is absolutely cooking at the moment. Fortunately, I've got a full bottle of water to get me back to Glen Nevis. I've seen there's quite a few people out doing this walk. They've not brought adequate water with them. When you go to do a trail, it's always kind of one of these things I try to be mindful of, is look where the water sources are. And I certainly knew when I was coming up here, there'd probably be a lack of water, hence why I carried extra with me. Anyway, I'm going to get a wee break, try and cool off a little bit, and we'll make our final approach to the last munro of the day. Anyway guys, we'll catch up in a wee bit. So we're looking at Ben Nevis there. You can really see CMD right far more clearly from this angle. And there's a Carnmore Derrig there, that nice sort of sharp sort of pinnacle there. And we pan the camera around. You can see the path that will lead us up our last munro today. Now I've just come down this section, which I thought was a bypass on the route. Now it is a path, but just to give you an idea, you know, how dangerous some of these sections can be. And you can see there's a path heading back on along. So I don't know, maybe the upper path is slightly safer. I'm not going back up to try. Anyway, we'll push forward. So as you can see, there is a lot of sections on this arete where you're going to be going through these sort of bouldery areas. And from what I found out, going the more central path certainly seems to be actually the safest bit. And it looks like we're getting towards the end of it, because there is our last Munro just in the distance. And the final Munro for the day, Angernak. Oh, I'm most certainly needing a bit of a rest. The sun has been doing me no good, but boy does it feel good to get a final one out of the way. And now from here on inwards, it's simply downhill. Oh, amazing. Up here you've got the birds singing, you've got all the different wildlife with the wildflowers out. Yeah, it's fantastic. Anyway, we'll see you as we come down into Glen Nevis. I shall catch you in a wee bit. So we're looking at one of the iconic waterfalls. In this case it's the Steall Falls. It's second largest in the UK. As you can agree, it is quite spectacular. There are some sources that cite it as the third, so I'll let them fight that out amongst themselves. But yeah, beautiful. What a way to sort of end a trail. So I've just come across the river. As you can see, it's very easy to cross. Just some pebble dashing. I'd thought about going across the suspension bridge that they have, but it's getting a little bit later on the day, so I'm just going to push on. So we're back where we started the trail today. I gotta admit, I'm certainly on the tired side. I'm very much looking forward to heading back up to the campsite and getting some tea, and ideally, obviously, a shower. Yeah, it was a hard trail, very enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please feel free to leave a like, and even better still, leave a subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. Until our next adventure, stay safe out there. We'll see each other again.